Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about
Hello, creative superstar. We're here talking about the sneaky ways of lack and their associated hacks. Now, there's a full podcast that goes through all 10 ways, but this one is just for you. And I'm going to tell you your top way of being sneaky with lack. And then I'm going to go through 3 others that are common to everybody, but I'm going to go into your particular hack. So, creative superstar, yours is number 4. Oops, I missed that opportunity. You're not paying attention, or you're overlooking something, or you've created some chaos in your life because it's either through overwhelm or opportunity. And everyone can become a little bit swept up with that, but for you, it's almost a state of normal. So you do not want to be overlooking opportunities. You want to be able to stay in the position for 1 minute where you're going to be doing things that are administrative or they're detailed, unless you've hired somebody already. So if you haven't hired anybody and it's you, then you want to make sure that you take the time to read that email through, or you take the time once you read the email to look at your calendar and cycle through that loop, because what often happens, it just goes unfinished. You've been invited to write an article. You've been invited to be on a podcast. You've been invited to be at an event, and you do the things about 80% of the way, and there isn't that finishing, or there isn't enough time beforehand. So, for example, one of my creative superstars was at an event last summer, and it was a great event, but she hadn't created the buzz. She hadn't really put the time in beforehand or on the back end, and so it fell flat for her. So you want to be able to look at the opportunity in its fullness, in that 180 degrees from start to finish, and say, okay, do I have this in me to do? And is the payoff going to be enough? And if it's yes, then you want to take advantage of that opportunity and actually curate it. So now these next 3 ways are, like I said, common to all the signatures, but I'm looking at your individual creative superstar hack. So the first one is judgment. We all do it. We're in a room that we don't feel comfortable with. There are a bunch of people that are so successful, or they're so influential, or they're just so glam that we're like, ish, and we start judging ourselves. That's the most common way. Other times it could be that we feel like that people are fangirling us, and we feel like we're the star, and then we could drop into judgment about other people, like, maybe these aren't the people that are for me, or maybe this isn't a room that I want to be in anymore. And guess what? Either way, this is a sneaky way of lack, because it is shearing off of joy. It is shearing off of the possibility of lifting you up as well as lifting other people up. So in each one of these ways, we are making things smaller. So if you're judging yourself, you're making yourself smaller. If you're judging someone else, you're making them smaller. The universe doesn't want to be made small. The beautiful uplift of success and abundance and joy and ease and freedom are all big energies. And when we're creating smallness, then we are saying to the universe, oh, we're not big enough. We don't want it. We're going to just cut it away. We absolutely don't want to do it. So become a cheerleader. Be encouraging. Clap for people. Clap for yourself. Really own your own creative magic. Pour into yourself as much as you pour into your creative offerings, and really watch yourself from making sure that you're not going into that comparative game and or looking for external validation from others. Recognize that your natural gifts and talents are worth so much to your clients, to your audience, to your followers, to your people. The next way of lack is investing in yourself. And there's actually 2 components to this. So one of them is trying to squeeze the last vestiges out of something that you've purchased. And then the antithesis of that is searching for or giving away everything for free. So there's this, I'm going to invest in myself in very splotchy ways. I'm going to overinvest in this area, so that I'm going to make sure that I get every single thing out of it. But guess what? Not everything is for me, so I'm missing out on other things. Or I am going to make sure that I am, hunting for the free things so that I don't have to pay money for things. That's not awesome. So for those times that you're feeling like, wait a minute, I want to eke out all of the goodness in this, particular program, you don't really have the energetic capacity for that or the bandwidth. And honestly, it's not even really all yours anyway. So don't fall into that trap. Just take what feels really luscious and good and keeps you in your high vibe and let the other things go. Otherwise, you're just going to get overwhelmed because it's a buyer's world these days and everybody's adding a million things for free bonuses and you don't even want them or need them. And that's not even why you were there in the first place. So when you let them go, it's a beautiful creation of space for you. From the free positioning, you adore giving away free offerings. So you do that and you adore saying yes to so many of them because it feels like such a luscious space to be in. You're a giver. You're like, great. So I'm giving all this away. So I'm going to then go ahead and receive this. And it just feels wonderful. However, these offerings may be distracting you from what truly matters. And so when you are in that mode of like, oh, I'm getting all these free offers. Again, it's not an imbalance. For other signatures, it's because they don't give away any free offerings. You actually do it a little bit too much. And it's because you adore this space and you just love to be in that. It's so creative, right? It just feels so magical. It feels so wonderful. And yet either side of that equation, if you're giving away too much or you're distracting yourself too much with free offerings, is inhibiting your abundance, is literally making money walk away from you. So what you want to do is practice saying no. No, I'm not going to give that away for free. You can say that to yourself. Or, no, I'm not going to actually download that whatever checklist or listen to that 15-part podcast because it's not even in your lane. If you want to do it because it will be super fun and enjoyable and it fills you up and it will be able to, get your cup so full that you then can go out into the world literally, having people drink from your soft serve versus drink from your cup, great. But most times it's not. Most times you're like, I want to learn this. This is fascinating. I want to keep learning it. It becomes a black hole for you. And in the meantime, you're missing out on those opportunities we talked about at the beginning of this podcast. So you want to be able to say no. You want to be able to say yes at the right times that mean something for you. And here's the thing, creative superstar, those things that scare you are the ones that are right for you. Those things that fascinate you can be super fun if you do them in small doses. But the more that they fascinate you, the more you get swept up with them, then it's a no. So I just gave you the answer for the discernment on that. So you want to be open to the aligned investment of both your time. Actually, it's three things: your time, your energy, and your resources. Okay. The last sneaky way of lack is your story. A lot of times people can become hostages to their story. It makes it too heavy for them. That's kind of a wise strategist things to do, or they don't really attach to their story. That's an intuitive visionary thing to do. But for you, you adore stories. Like this is your manna from heaven. You're like, when people tell you stories and they give you sneak peeks and they give you those behind the scenes, you're like, oh, I love that, because you love to identify with people themselves. And so you're so often consuming the stories of others, you forget that you don't readily tell yours. But when you start sharing your story, it's attracting the people that you really want to be with. You do like being with other creative superstars. So for able to do that, they fangirl you, you fangirl them. It feels really, really good. So you're such a Pied Piper. You're such an influencer that you love to, Jane Kane, when she had the best story about how she went into the forest and she was able to, come up with an elixir. And now this elixir make your face look amazing. And I've gotten this amazing, facial results. So I'm going to share a story about Jane, by the way, and about that facial elixir. You literally don't even have the CTA to come into your world or relate it to your own story or relate it to your own offering. And so you're just building Jane's business. You're not building your own. So we want to make sure that we are mindful of that. So in order to do that, define your story, refine your story, and let it become part of your messaging. And this will help increase the abundance in your life. So, Creative Superstar, I absolutely adore you. I would love it. It would mean so much to me if you subscribe to this podcast, if you rated it, if you reviewed it, if you shared it with friends. That would be amazing for me because you are such an influencer. And as always, thank you so much for being who you are and being the creative genius, and the universe adores you.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.